Today I want to deep dive into a conspiracy I fully believe is true. You see, there's these rumors that fly around on the dark web of Helldivers, the anti-super earthers who claim that the game is much harder when you host than when you just drop in and you're not the host. Now here's an example of one of the posts about this, and the post almost always gets downvoted and people come in and talk about, oh, you're just bad at the game, or get good, or this is a conspiracy, it's not real. But I kind of think it is. Now I want to be clear, when I say hosting, I don't mean that you're just running the game and inviting people in there. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is when you're actually like hosting the internet. And here's a little explanation on screen about it. Just because you started the game and your friends joined your game doesn't mean you're the host. And just because you joined someone else's game doesn't mean you're not the host. Actually, like, inviting people to your squad has nothing to do with it. The host is selected based on whoever has, I guess, the most stable internet, I believe. But here's what we do know. Enemies target host immediately when using silent throwables was a discovered glitch in the most recent patch update that Arrowhead acknowledged. Now, we all know that they don't acknowledge all the problems and all the notes and all that sort of thing, and we know that there's been at least talk of host bugs for a while. Now, I have gigabit internet, so I end up being the host quite a lot, and I run my own games, and I run a lot of solo games, so quite often I am the host, and that is the default difficulty that I am used to. So I decided I wanted to go and test this out to see, is there any truth to it? So I started joining random SOS flares, and my logic being that if I join a game already in progress, chances of the game migrating the host over to me are low, and I'll be able to experience the game not as the host. Now, this is circumstantial, and it's a small sample size. I acknowledge all those things, but when I tell you they're playing a completely different game, the host is playing a completely different game. When I first landed on Cyberstand as a host, I was dying left and right. I made a video about it, I talked about it, it was much harder, and I liked it. I liked the increased difficulty. I liked experiencing these rough battles where we actually had a chance to lose, where we're going through reinforcements. I crave that difficulty. But, like many people, I felt a little bit cheated on the difficulty by some of it feeling a little bit artificial with just the spam of the Vox machines and the great unfairness of the Vox machine. And what I mean by that is, like, they're homing rockets, it's supposed to telegraph where those missiles are going to land so you don't stand in it, but there's a known bug where that doesn't happen. So occasionally, it just hits you out of nowhere and there's nothing you can do about it and you die instantly. Also, when they eject the cyborg pilot, if you're the host, that locks onto you. And I have tested this, and I have proven it. It locks onto you, and it goes out of its way to crush you if you're the host of the game. So it's not enough to destroy the Vox machines, they will come to you after death as well. And then I noticed that there was a little bit of unfairness overall as I was running a stealth build, and I would fire at a creature and it would instantly, everything would turn and face me. Despite there being stealth mechanics in the game now, we know the stealth mechanics work because we had a whole, war bond about it, we talked about it, it was great. There were times where I would fire one bullet and the entire lobby would turn and face me and come attack me. I even had this with a Vox machine where I watched it. It was fighting my enemies on the other side of the map and I was doing an objective. As soon as I touched the computer on the objective, it turned, looked at me from across the map, shot my head off, and then went back to what it was doing. It purposefully targeted me as the host, undeniably. So what happened when I ran as not the host, when I was just joining someone else's lobby? Well, first off, stealth worked again, and stealth worked almost too good. Like, I almost completely soloed a level 10 Cyberstand Helldive when I wasn't the host. Because I would run up to areas to do the objective and there would be no enemies there. No enemies spawned in. No one had saw me. There was no one there. I literally could just walk up, drop the hell bomb, and then walk away. No fighting, no problem. If anything ever did happen to spot me, I could throw down a smoke, go invisible, and move on to the next objective. I didn't die a single time. I had no problem with the giant Vox machines. Nothing was coming after me. And probably the best thing is when I touched like the computer or the objectives, it wouldn't instantly send up a beacon for everyone in the entire lobby to come and wreck my day. I could just truly walk up, do it, and off we go. Now this isn't limited to just the robots. People have been talking about these bugs specifically with, ironically, the bugs a lot. Things with like Alpha Warrior spawns. And the most notably is probably Chargers and Behemoths, where they turn more tightly if you're the host, which creates this situation where people will tell you, just dodge the Charger. Like, you just have to jump out of the way. It's not that hard. And they don't realize if you're the host, it is that hard because they turn much more sharply, they turn much faster, and they lock onto you, so it's much harder to get them off your tail. And if you've never been like paying attention to host or not host or things like that, you might just sometimes think, well, I'm having a really bad match this time. No, you're not having a bad match. The system is out to get you. So if your friend is having a really bad match, and they typically don't, maybe cut them a little bit of slack. It might legitimately not be their fault. It does seem like all the enemy fronts, whoever is host, there's a whole litany of bugs, and I'm sure they're working on it, but as we all know with Arrowhead by now, once they fix one bug, a whole new slew of bugs will arrive, so I don't think we're ever going to truly fix this host bug. I don't really know that, I'm pretty sure it's hard-coded into the game at this point. Like, there has to be a host. There has to be like a host internet connection. And granted, when you're a host, you're going to have way less lag because it's running off of your internet and all that, so I understand to some degree it's unfixable, and that's just like a reality of hardware. But I also can't think of any other games off the top of my head that have had a problem like this, where, you know, in World of Warcraft, you're playing on someone else's servers, right? The lag is on the server, and I've never played World of Warcraft where it's like, well, if you're the host of this PvP session, you're just going to have a worse time. Like, I've never heard of that in any other game. And I don't know, maybe if someone's played like Space Marine 2 more than me, or Vermintide, or Deep Rock Galactic, any of the games that are more like the genre, I don't know if that exists in those games. Let me know down in the comments if that exists in other games, but as far as I know, this is the only game where you actively have a penalty for hosting the game. In fact, if you were playing now, I have to say years ago, wow, it's weird to say if you were playing years ago, back in my day, kids, if you were playing Helldivers, you knew that fire damage was bugged and it didn't work unless you were the host, right? Like, so we know the host bugs have been around probably since the game has launched, but I think on Cyberstan, it's way more noticeable because there's so many more enemies and so many more things going wrong that if you're hosting it, it just feels, like I said, like a completely different game. My point in saying all this is, if you think Cyberstan is too easy, try upgrading your internet and being the host, and then come back and report back, and you'll have a completely different experience. One of the other things that I couldn't confirm, this one is probably more on the conspiracy side, is I feel like also if you're host, you take more damage. Now, it might just be that, again, there's more accuracy, there's less lag, so you're more likely to get hit by things. That's what people say, like with the Chargers, that the Charger has a smaller hitbox because there's less lag, so it's more likely to hit you. I don't know for certain. Like, I can't tell you the internals of it. I don't know if it's because they're more accurate. I don't know if they're hitting better shots, but I feel like you take way more damage as the host. Like when turrets shoot at you. I've been absolutely one-shot bodied by turrets, no doubt. But when I'm not the host, even in light armor, I notice myself surviving what I feel like should have been absolute body shots. Like, I should have exploded into a million pieces, but all it did was do like 3 damage and knock me over and ragdoll me a little bit. So again, I don't know if that's because of accuracy. I don't know if that's a lag-based thing, but I feel like you take way less damage and can survive way longer when you're not the active host. So yeah, that's kind of my little conspiracy ranty yap for the day. Have you noticed this? Like, if you've been playing a lot, have you been sitting and noticing if you're the host or not and seeing the difference? Am I just absolutely making things up? Have you noticed this too? Like, I feel like them acknowledging that there are some host bugs means this isn't all in our head. There's got to be some truth to it. But every time you post on this on Reddit and such, like I said, people will just say, you're conspiracy, get good, you're just terrible, you're making excuses. But I feel like this is a real thing that I experienced. So I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments down below. And as always, thank you for watching and have a blessed day.